last meeting, that was a fantastic meeting. I thought it shows what we've got in the village and how positive people are. And all living in Ackworth, which is great. So, the first quarter of an hour, which will be to 7:45, will be for the public part of the meeting. So, public session prior to the meeting. So, members of the public are reminded to adhere to the rules set by the council for this session. So, have we got anybody who wants to ask any questions or make any comments? Yes, you identify, sorry.
It's Alistair Gaines.
All right.
I've got questions re the Low Ackworth Community Centre. I believe you may have discussed it earlier, but I wasn't here. I asked on the 9th of October recent questions on it and got a reply on the 24th of October regarding do you have a lease on a building on land, yes or no. I got a reply in regards to Low Ackworth Community Centre. The question you have asked are more advanced in time processes, and the project therefore a yes and no answer is not possible in relation to the above, which I thought was quite a simple question, yes or no. I then also asked, has any money been spent on the plans? And I got a reply, no. But after doing some research, I found that the Chair's annual statement from 2016 from Councillor Balfour stated that the parish had secured a 30-year lease on the land at Low Ackworth. So that would mean that you've got a lease to 2046. Is this correct, or is that wrong?
Do you want to take that as a... You didn't want to talk about the lease or...
So in terms of the 2016 report, obviously I wasn't with the parish council then.
I can give you a copy of it, it'll help you.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy to look into that and come back to you as to...
Well, Councillor Balfour's here.
I'm not seeing the question.
Well, this isn't a sort of question and answer session. This is for people to raise the concerns and will be passed on to the relevant things.
Okay, I mean, I'll give you that afterwards. So it then goes on through 2020, leases talked about, that's September, November, February 2021, April 2021, January 2022. Therefore, the question I'd still like to know, is there a lease in place? Because you seem to be fairly advanced, from what I can gather. Someone said you're looking at spades in the ground from the last meeting, someone's just told me. Are you, I mean, if you haven't got a lease on the land, how can you put spades in the ground?
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, that's fine. So we're in the early stages of the Low Ackworth potential building. It's on agenda item as this evening, as it was referred to earlier on. In terms of the lease, it's currently in its renewal phase, so I'm dealing with that at the moment. So as with every lease, it renews at some point, so it's in that process at the moment. Like I said, if you want to submit that to me, I'm more than happy to look into it in a bit more detail for you and come back to you formally with a more fuller question, fuller answer, sorry.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one, basically a meeting on the 14th of November 2022, C 24.2, it was agreed that a regular item added to the full council meeting regarding the Low Ackworth Community Centre. I don't believe that's been happening. Is that going to be put back on the agenda?
Answer that, Chair.
Yes.
Again, 2022 is before my time, so I'll
I
have
appreciate
all of that collectively and I can come back to you with
Okay.
a fuller response.
Right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Just in relation to that, one Marshall, yeah. Just in relation to that lease, if we're in negotiation of renewal of the lease, then one would expect that the information Alice asked for would be to hand. Because surely we wouldn't renegotiate a lease without knowing what our current lease was on it. So I'm just highlighting that really.
So I do have information on it, but not to hand right now in this meeting, which is why I want to go away and come back with a fuller response. So it's not that there isn't ongoing conversations being had on the lease, it's just that right here, right now, I'm unable to give you a full answer.
Okay.
Can I just say, Chair, that I'm addressing my questions to you because I believe that the councillors are the people responsible to us as members of the public. And so, you know, I think the council should be answering it and asking asking the clerk and then delivering answers to us. But I don't really see how it's possible to be renegotiating a lease without actually knowing, it just doesn't sound right.
Well, I will partly answer that in that I think the idea of being a councillor is that you're an elected councillor and you take advice and give advice to the paid officers, i.e. the responsible officer who is the clerk. The negotiation between Wakefield Council leaseholders and Ackworth Parish Council leaseholders will obviously be done by the clerk, because they're the person responsible for that, with the support of the councillors. So that answers your question about why the clerk's answering and not the councillor. Are there any other questions?
With respect, it doesn't really. I don't feel comfortable with the clerk being put on the spot the whole time in these meetings. It's been noted in the past that isn't good practice, and I'm a bit uncomfortable, let's put it that way.
Thank you for that. Sean?
Through Sean Richmond, through Freedom of Information request, I was told Ackworth Parish Council in 2019 accepted a 30-year sports club lease down Ackworth. Is that true or not?
I've no idea.
And
I don't know how to count it.
Well, Wakefield Council said they did. The other one, with the precepts tax just gone up, right, I believe. So did it really have to go up if we're talking about a loan for Larkov Community Centre when there's people in crisis? Did they really have to put it up when they're going to pay for a loan out of it?
So what's your question?
Well, I'm asking, did they really have to put the precept tax up this time? Did they put it up with the thought of getting a public work loan for Larkov Community Centre? Did they really have to put the pretext tax up when there's people in crisis? Because
sorry? Yeah, well, I mean, the reason that the precept's gone up, if you research it, then there's been lots of things about inflation and everything else going on, and everybody's precept's gone up all over the country. In fact, some councils, much bigger councils than Ackworth Parish Council, have actually gone bankrupt, and I think that's partly to do with austerity, partly to do with councils being squeezed, and partly to do with the inflation that we're all. I don't think it's much to do with Ackworth Parish Council borrowing money to build a new community centre that's much needed. So if that answers does that answer your question?
yeah, there's just one quick more question. The crossings that we're on about, across from Orchard Drive, all the supporting evidence that I put in from main Councillor Raymond Massey, District Councillor Raymond Massey, when you write to Wakefield, is that supporting evidence going in? Because Martin Barnes dismissed that crossing, saying after this crossing, and it didn't need that crossing across from Orchard Drive, and there was a petition put in with all the supporting evidence. Is that going to Wakefield with the documentation?
I think that's on the agenda later on. So I think that is right.
Yeah, as long as that supporting evidence goes in, because some people on that estate did a lot of work signing that petition. And me and Raymond got a lot of supporting evidence with accidents.
As we said before, Ackworth Parish Council are fully in favour of all the crossings that have been programmed in.
Martin,
we don't have, as you well know, we don't have a say on the crossing. Yeah. It's Wakefield Highways and Wakefield Council that do that. But we can just put our views forward, and I think everybody on the parish council is fully in favour of as many crossings as possible to make it as safe as possible for
these have actually put a petition in for a crossing.
Of Ackworth. And that is about crossing, I agree with that. Are there any other...
Just one last thing with that District Councillor Raymond Massey, right? Contacted Mr. Barnes because he dismissed it because of the other crossing. He doesn't know the difference between the east and the west side of the roundabout. But he did say it will be in this year's budget to put the crossing in when he was challenging. But the Parish Council, we have a road safety committee, they should be challenging this.
Right. Okay, are there any other questions? Anybody who's not asked a question or not spoken? Okay. Marshall?
Glenn Marshall. It's just that there's quite a lot happening in the village. People are quite worried about a few things in the village. I've been asked to point this out if I came tonight, if I was able to come tonight. There's quite a lot happening down at the Mugger. There are problems with the roads, and I noticed on the agenda there was something about halting action for 2 months, and I think that would probably give a cause for concern for residents. Apart from anything else, we do have to be able to react and respond to things in the village. I don't doubt that there'll be an explanation for why that 2 months is being considered as a halt. I presume someone's absent, but I'm wondering if it might. We have, I think, 3 administrative posts. Now, I would have thought that we might consider either bringing someone else in if there's an absence, or perhaps temporarily. A normal thing would be temporarily promoting someone else so that the job could be covered, if indeed that is the reason for the. You said it isn't a question and answer session, but I'll ask this question in case it can be answered. I don't think it's a problem one. We have, I think 3 administrative things, 2 part-time and 1 full-time. What we don't know, and I didn't know even when I was a councillor, how many hours, because part-time, you can have a part-time person for a morning. How many hours are those 2 other part-time posts? Would it be possible to give that information? I'm sure it's well known to the personnel committee, etc.
I think the makeup of the hours is public knowledge, and it's on the website. I think so.
Oh well.
And if people are concerned of passing,
I couldn't find it on the website today.
I'm sure it is. And I'd just like to say, if people are passing on their concerns about what's happening on the mugger and other issues around the council, there is the facility to ask the council. We put that on the website. Or if people don't go on, if they're not on the internet, they could actually write to the council or
there are
send an
sorts
email
of ways,
and get an answer. If they write to the clerk or write to any of the staff.
There
of the
are all
council.
sorts of ways. My understanding was that this parish council wanted to be receptive to members of the public. We've just had a very wonderful meeting, but that meeting did not allow time for people to question, which is normally what the parish is saying.
No, stop you there, because it did.
But
There was a session. The last 10 minutes or so was a session for people to ask questions, and nobody asked the question. So
no,
you must have got the wrong impression, or you may be.
No. Once you've had all of those people speak, it is not the right. You need a little time to get people into it. That was not the sort of meeting. But since it's common knowledge, since it's public knowledge, and we have the information here, people here who must know, is it not possible just to tell me how many hours those 2 part-time? Because I did look for quite a long time on the website, but maybe my skills are not good enough on the website, but since it's common and public knowledge, could you not tell me here and now?
I'm sure that if people have got concerns about the issues that you're raising about the mugger and things like that, or the roads, or any other issues, then the facility is always there for people to email.
Let me just clarify. The question I'm asking now is that we have 2 part-time posts in addition to a full-time post. We're also actually advertising for agency stuff too, but not for agency workers, for people to do other jobs. Can you not tell me here and now, since it's so public knowledge and everybody knows, how many hours those part-time jobs are?
No, I'm not going to answer that. It's not a question and answer session. Okay, are there
it seems to be a secret.
Are there any other questions from anybody who's not spoken?
I'd just like to say I was at the previous meeting and there was ample time at the end for people to ask questions. In fact, people were sat thinking, somebody will ask a question. There was plenty of time.
I didn't want to rain on people's parade.
You weren't raining on a parade.
Well,
if you wanted to ask a question...
Look, I'm always raining on yours. You're always there.
You're not being on my parade.
You're always there to try and denigrate.
That's the end of
why you're here.
The public session of the meeting. I'll just start the full parish council meeting now. Thank you for your contributions. As a reminder by me of the council's expectations for the audio-visual recording of this meeting. The Parish Council meeting may be recorded on the Openness of Local Government Regulations 2014, and devices are to be placed on the table provided throughout the meeting. Item 2 is apologies. To receive apologies for absence given in advance of the meeting.
So we've had apologies for Councillor Roberts and Councillor Cook, which have both been recorded in the book.
Okay. To consider the approval of reasons given for absence. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah. Show of hands. Yeah, that's unanimous. Declarations of interest and dispensations. Item 3. To receive any declarations of interest not already declared under the Council's Code of Conduct or a member's register of disposable pecuniary interests. That's an hard thing to say on items on the agenda. To receive, consider and decide upon any written applications for dispensation of disclosable pecuniary interest, and to grant any requests for dispensation as appropriate. Have we had any written or
None to the office.
No, okay, so no. Thank you. Right, item 4.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't.
Item number 10, 4. I'm on the committee of the Heritage Group.
Item 10. Oh, you're there.
Yes, with House representatives, I did need to say that.
Right, okay. Any more? No? Okay, thanks for that, Stuart. So, item 4 on the agenda is to receive available reports from the following. 4.1 is the West Yorkshire Police. What we have is the West Yorkshire Police crime statistics, which we get every month. Anybody got any questions on this or any observations? Can we just receive them? If not, what we can do with them, we'll release them. Okay, are they received by everybody? Yeah. 4.2 is Wakefield Council District Councillors. Have we received anything from?
Nothing written.
Nothing received from them. Ackworth Parish Council, 4.3 is Ackworth Parish Council representatives on outside bodies. Have we got any reports for reps on outside bodies? Councillor Sheriff, Sheriff.
Got the name of it. I was at the PAC meeting last week or the week before, can't remember what it was now. The PAC's one, yeah, week or two ago anyway. There wasn't masses to report. Apparently there was some antisocial behaviour issues down at the park by the BP garage, and they said most of the kids involved weren't from this area, they were actually from Pontefract. So they come to our village to cause some trouble by certain things. On that, they've got a big operation going on at the moment in Upton and Ackworth relating to off-road bikes and quad bikes and things like that. In particular, the younger people using them where they shouldn't do things, and they've actually got, if anybody sees anything, they've got a thing, Operation Miller C. So if you do see anything and want to report it, if it gets reported with Operation Miller C, then it will get a bit more prompt attention, because that's something that they are particularly looking at the moment. And I think the only other thing really was just they said that whatever the team is in this area have now got a pro laser speed gun that they can use across the south east area, so they'll be out and about to watch your speed. Probably is the message that is being calibrated at the moment, and they've all got to learn how to use it. But at some point soon, they can do that. So I think that was really. There were a few other things discussed, but I think that was probably the main issue. The thing that we discussed last month about Green Lane and misuse of it was discussed as well.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that, Andy.
And then the other one was the Heritage Group. I've realised I needed to declare, but I've forgotten. Still going well, I think. Still there doing fine with things. I think the main thing, they had the installation and unveiling of the plaque for Harry Miles at his house where he lived. And I can't remember if we reported it when all these photos here, which we've seen. Somebody from Wakefield Council is going to talk to them about help with digitising all of those photo albums, which but they're hopefully going to be able to get certainly some of it done, which would be fantastic to have that to kind of preserve them and make them a bit more public as well, probably. We've got a change of speaker for their. If anybody's interested in the life and music of Sammy Khan, who did loads of Hollywood stuff, there's a talk on that on the 25th. But the main thing they're working on at the moment is their 1st of June event, which is here in the Parish rooms. Thought that they've traditionally done on the village green, but because it's got really difficult to use the village green, they're doing it here, and they've got so it's 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. They've got jewellery, plant, wrought iron, craft, miscellaneous stalls, tea and coffee, raffles, and all sorts of things going on. So 1st of June.
Brilliant.
So I think
Has Sammy Khan got an Ackworth connection, or is it?
I'm not sure that there is actually. I don't know, but I don't think so. Just somebody from Ackworth who was associated with him. Yeah, so not directly. But, so yes.
If Andy's done, have you done your groups? Sorry, I put my hand up.
Yeah.
I've got one as well.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Just one other thing they've got, and they're going to be selling copies of it. A fascinating old map of the waterways in Ackworth when the mills were on Mill Lake, and it shows how the river was diverted to feed the mill and then back into it. And